back to Lost in Translation. Today we're going to be talking about Thought for Thought translations of the Bible. Thought for Thought translation is by far the most popular and accessible version of the Bible that you will find. Most of the Bibles that you find on a Barnes & Noble bookshelf, anything like that, more than likely they're going to fit into this category. Most of the Bibles that you may received when you first became a follower of Jesus or you were baptized fall into this category. What Thought for Thought Bible translations do is they're still an accurate translation from the original language, but they communicate more the idea and the thought behind the language rather than a word for word exact this word to this word type of translation. It's communicating the grand idea of the passage, the grand idea of the original languages. It's going to be extremely easy to read. It's going to have great flow. The weaknesses of a word for word translation, the choppiness, a little bit difficult to read, all of those are going to be resolved in a thought for thought translation of the Bible. This is why most of the time, again, when we give Bibles to young believers or new followers of Jesus, even as adults, you go with a thought for thought translation of the Bible. Now, the weaknesses of it is what you get in readability. You lose a little bit in the accuracy of the translation. You might be tempted to say it feels a little watered down when you read it against a King James or a New King James or an ESV, and especially against an interlinear Bible. It's going to feel very watered down. I don't know a better term for that, but that's where we're going to run with. The uses for a Thought for Thought Bible is very user-friendly, especially if you have kids, especially if you have teenagers in the home. It's good for devotional reading. You want to wake up in the morning with your coffee or your donut and have a time in God's Word, have a good devotional. A Thought for Thought translation is really good. It's really user-friendly, and you'll be able to retain a lot from that. Again, you're going to see a chart come across your screen, and it's going to list the different types of Bible translations. The Holman Christian Standard Bible, which is put out by Lifeway, the New Revised Standard Version, the New American Bible, New Jerusalem, New International Version, which is probably one of the most popular translations of the Bible. Most of you were probably given a New International Version when you either accepted Jesus or you were baptized as a young believer. The TNIV, which I don't really recommend, but that falls into that category. New Century Version and the New Living Translation. If I'm going to use a translation to just casually read with my kids or with another person, especially one who doesn't have a great familiarity with the Bible, I'm going in two different directions with Thought for Thought. I'm going to go with NIV, and I'm going to go with the New Living Translation. The New Living Translation is beautiful, is a beautiful translation of God's Word. It really captures the emotion of the text, and it really draws people into the storyline. It has a good commitment to the original language, but man, is it a good translation. So the NIV and the New Living Translation, if you're going to go with this type of Bible. So this is Thought for Thought. It is a translation, but it's made extremely readable, extremely accessible. It's by far the most popular version of the Bible. You're probably going to find more of these type of Bibles than any other Bible that you'll find anywhere. So basically, that's Thought for Thought, and we'll see you in the next video where we talk about paraphrases.